All right, now this exchange, okay, between Mr. Timmons and Mr. Jake Werrett, okay, the chief legal officer of Polygon Labs, right? This has so much good information, guys. If you're trying to understand cryptocurrency, decentralization, right, exactly how what they're trying to figure out, right? This man is very informational. And mind you, this whole video, guys, please watch it in its entirety, okay? Please lock in. Tell me what you think, guys. Give me some feedback. What do y'all think is going? Because this was majority of the sentiment at this conference, guys. Mind you, they have more lined up. But can you see where we are headed? All right, let's lock in, man.
With the space to build, supported by clear and fair guardrails. This is what true international leadership in the digital asset space looks like. Crafting legislation that ensures a level playing field and encourages innovation right here in America. Mr. Werrett, beyond financial applications, can you highlight any use cases being built on the Polygon blockchain that, if adopted by the federal government, could significantly improve efficiency across various sectors?
We spoke earlier about Privado ID, which is provides services to allow someone to intake and provide access to their ID, but in a way that's protected by cryptography. When you're asked to verify your age, you're asked to verify your identity. That can be done essentially through this non-custodial wallet that is burned or imaged into that wallet, the confirmation that you are who you say you are. Another is the movement of titles of property across the blockchain, healthcare, allowing your healthcare records to be custodied by you instead of having to ask one doctor to send another doctor x-rays and then get specific requests fulfilled. But instead you can actually have control of your healthcare records and also control in a self-custody wallet of your assets or your crypto. So numerous.
Really, all of those things involve reducing or removing intermediaries. And it's very exciting, even something as simple as voting. I mean, we have this issue with knowing who people are and them being who they say they are. And the technology can solve these challenges and really create a lot of efficiencies. So a follow-up to that question, how might the upcoming market structure legislation support or potentially impact the future integration of blockchain technology into government systems?
Thank you for your question. I think the market structure bill is a great start. It's very encouraging to see this legislative body taking crypto seriously and trying to solve for blockchains. I think that a few of the things that need to be addressed are the Howey test issued by the Supreme Court in the 1940s should be refreshed, not abolished, but refreshed. And given a gloss, or there should be an additional test that looks at the decentralization of a project. It's relevant, right? Whether something's a security or not deals with whether there's a promise and whether there was reliance on that promise. Whether there's an expectation of profits based on the efforts of others, and that goes to the center of what is there a centralized intermediary or a centralized promoter or manager that's running this project that the investor is relying on to provide information. So it makes sense that this topic of decentralization would be a part of the securities analysis. That's one way.
That leads into my next question perfectly. Ms. Smith, in your testimony, you stated that the decentralized nature of certain digital assets presents unique challenges to federal securities law compliance. Could you explain why decentralization makes it more difficult to apply U.S. securities laws to the digital asset ecosystem?
Sure. So decentralization at its core assumes there's no central intermediary. The federal securities laws are based on there being the presence of a central intermediary. So in some respects, they're a little bit inconsistent. That's why regulatory clarity is necessary.
Thank you for that. When you talk about decentralization, are you referring to the blockchain network that these projects are built on, the digital asset project itself, or both?
That's a great question. I'm referring to both. As Mr. Sierra explained, some token projects themselves are decentralized. And then once the token is issued, they can trade on a decentralized protocol. So it's both the issuer and then the mechanism for trading.
Thank you. One of the more complex issues in securities law today involves NFTs and how they can be effectively and fairly regulated here in the United States. That's why my colleague, Congressman Richie Torres, and I are working on the New Frontiers in Technology Act to establish clear and equitable guardrails for NFT creators operating within our borders. We've seen the SEC take the position that some NFTs are securities in extreme cases, like the Stoner Cats example, even instruct artists to destroy their own work. That's deeply concerning, and we need to ensure that this technology isn't subject to shifting political winds depending on which party is in power. I appreciate the work of this committee, and with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentlemen.